Aloha, friends. Welcome back. My name is Gisani, or Dr. J. I am a licensed psychologist, award-winning author of The Bodhi Blueprint, and today I am your host. And today we're diving into something called alignment. We're not talking about the kind of alignment that comes to mind right away, maybe at the mechanic or even a chiropractor. That kind of alignment costs you thousands of dollars at the mechanic, for example. And let me tell you, I have definitely lived that story recently. After hauling maybe 1,000+ pound trailer across the country for my move, my car was completely out of whack. My wheels were pulling, brakes were squeaking, filters were clogged, spark plugs fried. And every time I thought, okay, finally, it's fixed, the mechanic was like, oh, but actually, there's more. And I thought, isn't that exactly what it feels like when we're out of alignment? We keep pushing forward, but underneath we're exhausted, squeaky, maybe a little smoky and unclear, and nothing we ever do or try to do feels smooth. You know that feeling? Well, there's a season in my own life that I'm thinking of right now where I was so out of alignment and it took me so long to realize it. Because from the outside, things looked great. I had my degrees, a thriving private practice, clients who relied on me. But on the inside, I felt drained, disconnected, like I was living someone else's life, like I wasn't truly here. The biggest clue that finally kind of just like whacked me across the side of my head and made me go, oh my God, I'm out of alignment, was that I dreaded Mondays. Not because of my clients, don't get me wrong, because I love them, but because of the way that I was working didn't really fit who I truly was inside. I found myself overgiving, underboundaried, ignoring my own needs, and it was kind of like driving with the steering wheel cranked to one side. I was still moving forward, but it was exhausting and honestly, probably a little dangerous. And just like my car, I kept thinking, a small tune up might fix it. Maybe a new routine. Get up earlier, work out later, work out earlier, walk the dogs later. Whatever it was, I thought maybe a new routine might spruce it up, or maybe there was something about my routine that wasn't supporting my lifestyle. Maybe I needed more coffee. Maybe I just needed a vacation. But until I addressed the bigger misalignment, that I was living out of sync with my values and my sense of purpose, nothing really changed. So, the sense of alignment that we get when we think about going to a mechanic for our car or maybe going to the chiropractor for our spine, we think about the costs that come with being out of alignment there. Maybe it's a few $1,000s, maybe it's a lot of money, maybe it's having to take vacation or, time off from work. Whatever that looks like, that type of alignment is nothing when you compare it to the type of alignment we're talking about today. The alignment of who you truly are and how you are actually living your life, how you show up. When there is a misalignment there, the cost isn't a few $1,000s or having to take some PTO. The cost is so much greater. The cost is finally being on your deathbed, taking your last few breaths, going, wow, I really want to do over. That's the cost. So, in order to prevent that from happening, in order for you to live a life that's true to you, what does alignment actually really mean? I used to think alignment was say what you mean what you say. In fact, that's the phrase that I would say whenever I'd hop on stage, whenever I'd be in a leading a group of people in a workshop or a master class. That was my intention. Say what I mean what I say. Because being empathic, I tend to feel other people's feels, which means that if I'm not careful, I'd get lost in what other people's struggles were and what their needs were and totally undermine or compromise the gift that I wanted to share with the group that day. So I thought it was alignment was say what you mean what you say. But what I'm beginning to shift away from is this understanding that alignment isn't about having integrity or being honest with yourself. Alignment truly is about how you align or how different levels of you align in a way that you are harmonious. So think of a band, for example, or an orchestra that's getting ready to do I want to say a presentation, I don't know why. Think of a band or an orchestra that's getting ready to have a performance. If you have any instruments that are playing different tunes or even playing the same tune but at different bars, what you'll notice is that, like, ugh, that cacophony where there's no sense of harmony. That's what life is like when you're living out of alignment. Alignment happens when your values, your actions, and your purpose are all pointing in the same direction. When they're not, you feel friction. In fact, the way that I like to define alignment now is when you're so in tune with your inner world, when your inner world is in tune, your outer world reflects the true, authentic spark that is who you are inside. When you're not feeling that way, when you're not living a life in alignment, you don't understand how to live life in flow. You don't know what flow feels like. So I want you to notice what some signs are that you might be out of alignment and see how many of these you check off. So if you're out of alignment, you find yourself saying yes when you mean no. When you want to say no, but you say yes because you're either so used to keeping the peace, so used to making sure other people are happy, because you feel like it's your responsibility that everyone around you is comfortable or happy. Maybe you're feeling tired. I know for some of us who are aligned with the stars and where all the planetary alignments are happening, this might be hard to actually acknowledge, but if you're constantly tired or fatigued, no matter how much rest you get, and it's not a temporary thing, you feel like you've been tired and needing 3 cups of coffee just to get you awake every day, maybe it's time to consider whether or not you're out of alignment. Perhaps you're feeling like you're doing all the right things, right? You've checked off things off your list, just like I did, but they just don't feel right. They don't feel fulfilling. Perhaps you're feeling like you're forcing everything in your life instead of things feeling like they're flowing. So when life flows, the feeling that I can compare this to is if you're in your car, you're driving to Pilates, and all of the lights turn green for you. When you're not in flow, things just take the extra 3 steps just to get back to normal. That's what it's like. In fact, one of the biggest things that I've noticed my clients will say that I know gives me the aha, like red or orange blinking light for me to a flag, if you will, for me to check into or tune into, is when they say that they use their phones for doom scrolling a lot. So if they're on their phone for hours, so screen time is up a lot, or perhaps they wait for Fridays, or they come home at the end of the day and all they want to do is crash on the couch with either a bag of potato chips or a glass or two of wine. That's when I know that they're out of alignment. It's when you're tuning out, when you are not present with your life, that you feel the sense of being out of flow. And I know that that means that we need to take a look at whether your values, your purpose, your actions line up. There are some signs that show you that you're in alignment. When you're in alignment, when all of the layers or levels of you are lined up and pointed in your true north direction, you're going to find that you feel energized. You have clarity in the way that you think, opportunities to seem to show up at the right time. You laugh more, you worry less, and when you're in alignment, when challenges happen, because they will, you feel anchored instead of feeling like you're going to spiral. We talked about an orchestra, right? About to play a symphony before. Think of alignment like tuning a guitar. If one string is off, the whole song is going to feel off. When it's in tune, suddenly the music flows. So, how do you get back into alignment? There are three simple things that you can do to get started today. The first thing is to check your boundaries. Are you giving too much of yourself away? Are you saying yes, even though you know you want to say no? This is a major thing to check for those of us who feel very empathic. Second thing that you can do is to listen to your body. When you try to justify or use your monkey mind, your mind chatter to understand or identify whether you're in alignment, you're going to find yourself more confused than ever before. What you want to do is not tune into your thoughts, but tune into your body. Listen to your body. Your body is going to tell you when something is off. So you might notice tension in the shoulders, you got jaw tension, maybe you get headaches a lot. Fatigue is something we've talked about, right? Maybe you're tired a lot. These are all signals, signs that come up on your dashboard that say, hey, you need to check this out. These are things for you to identify and assess, not inconveniences that you need to ignore or try and suppress, like we try to do a lot. A third thing that you can do that is a small, simple, doable step that you can start today is to recommit to one truth. What that means is to pick one thing that makes you feel like you at your core. Pick the one thing that makes you feel like you on a deeper level. So maybe you feel like you. This is when all of those expectations of the world, conditions or conditionings that we've had, anything that makes you go, ugh, anything that makes you crawl inside your skin or want to curl in, when all of those things come off. They don't exist in the space. Maybe the space is when you're being creative, when you're playing the piano, when you're playing the guitar, when you're painting a painting, when you're writing a poem, when you're at karaoke singing a song. Maybe that space for you is when you're being creative. Maybe that space for you is when you're feeling connected to someone else. Maybe when you connect to other people, that's when you feel truly deeply connected to the true version of you. Or perhaps this is actually kind of new to me, but something that came up recently. Maybe you feel like you, at your deepest sense, at your deepest core, when you're at rest, when nothing is expected of you, you're not actively doing anything, but you are just observing and at rest. Pick that one thing, that one space that makes you feel like you at your core, and structure your day around that. That means you pull out your calendar and you make sure that your day is structured around that activity. It's not an activity like a hobby that you have time for if you have time for it at the end of the day, but this is going to be the thing that you want to work your day around. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's the first thing that you do or the last thing that you do before bed, but it's something that is so anchored into your calendar because that is something you do. Just like you eat a meal or you brush your teeth, right? This is something you do that is so core to your daily routine that the rest of your day gets scheduled around that. So those are three small, doable, simple steps that you can take today to start getting back into alignment. If you are anything like me or the Bodhi Sparks members or any of my clients, and you actually are curious about what creates misalignment and you want a shortcut, not a shortcut in the sense that you're bypassing any lessons that you need to learn today, but a shortcut in the sense that it actually helps you to really give structure to the meaning of alignment, where you can actually truly integrate what alignment feels like in your body and you consciously understand within the context of your purpose, within the context of actionable steps, what it is that you can do to stay in alignment. I have this dirty little secret. And just to give you a peekaboo, what we do is we take this NLP concept of levels And we use that to help you understand whether you truly are in alignment. If that piques your interest, or if you would like support with like-hearted, like-minded individuals who are working towards understanding their life purpose, please come visit us at the Bodhi Sparks. It's bodhisparks.com, bodhisparks.com. You can come check us out for free for 2 weeks. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But if it is for you, then you've just made one of the biggest decisions of your life in creating that simple small shift to make sure you stay on the right trajectory. Because if there's anything that I've learned about self-development, it's that when we do it alone, it's incomplete. And this is something that I wish I knew when I started my self-development journey, is that we need a tribe. So come check us out, see if any of this piques your interest. Come see if this is what you've meaning your spirit, your soul has been looking for. Because what's there to lose? At the end of the day, if nothing else, my challenge for you this week is to notice one place where you're out of alignment and make a tiny adjustment. It doesn't have to be a dramatic life overhaul or a traumatic one. We're not, the point is not to turn your life upside down. This is just one small shift to get you back on trajectory. If you would like to remember, life isn't about driving perfectly straight all the time. It's about noticing when you drift and having the courage to gently steer yourself back. And remember, when you define alignment as being in tune within, the outside world will also then reflect back what it is and who it is that you truly authentically are. With that being said, as always, please let me know if there's anything that we can digest together, assess, learn about that might help you on your journey. If you have any comments, please feel free to let me know as well. Stay aligned and stay sparkly. I will see you next time.